As a follow-up to my previous video on the progression of power, today's video looks at the treatment of colors through the course of the Digimon trading card game. At the earliest infancy of the Digimon trading card game, in Japan, the origin of the game began with 3 colors: red, blue, and yellow based on the starter decks in April of 2020. Within 1 month's time, the first core set New Evolution would introduce 2 additional colors in the form of green and white, with subsequent sets offering black and purple. In time, each color would largely establish their core mechanics and strategies. Red, focusing on multiple security checks and deletion-based effects that would eventually branch into generic removal to DP-based removal. Blue, focusing on multiple unsuspends, card draw, and generic bounce to hand. Yellow, focusing on recovery and DP reduction. Green, focusing on cheap Digivolution costs and suspending Digimon. Black, focusing on defensive elements and de-Digivolve. Purple, focusing on recursion, discard, and trashing-based effects. And finally, white being reserved for overly powerful cards. Keep in mind, a lot of these colors have evolved over time, and in terms of power creep, the Digimon trading card game has not only gone from 1 colors to 2, but 3 as well. When combining these colors, elements of each color are typically incorporated. For example, take BT12, War Greymon. It's when Digivolving effect gives it Reboot, a keyword effect typical of black, while the Raid element is an effect commonly found in red. The first comparison that I'd like to go over is the restriction list. Cards naturally come and go in terms of power creep, with Savior Huckmon and Tomihime leaving the restriction list earlier last year. In some ways, I'm bringing up the restriction list because I want to provide visual evidence of how each color is affected. After compiling all the different cards currently restricted, or in Mega Digimon Fusion's case, banned, red has a total of 4 instances where it's affected, blue has 6, yellow has 5, green has 4, black has 2, purple has a whopping total of 9, and white only has 2. For red cards, hilariously, I think the blame soundly falls on archetypal support. Greymon X being too good for tribal Greymon decks in general, Geo Greymon for free-playing tamers, Sunrise Buster having a lower cost than most option cards that play tamers and being able to play any yellow or red tamer generically, and Shoutmon Cross 4 for honestly the amount of value it generates for cross-hard decks. Blue's problem typically comes in the form of high return rates. Ice Wall, for example, is in my mind at this point no different than Venusmon or Shine Greymon Ruin Mode that buys you a turn. Is it obnoxious? Yes. But with the remaining blue cards, they lean into archetype-specific cards. Promoware Garurumon, for example, facilitated OTKs in the same sense as Mach Galgamon. Garurumon X and Gabumon X's effects to protect from battle was just too good, with the added benefits of digging. While Bukamon was honestly caught in the crossfire for being too good in already good decks and helping elevate existing blue ones. Yellow largely has issues with recovery, free tamer play, or inherent value, while green provided too much value without a cost, even if that cost was suspending a body. As a result, green in my mind has largely become the guinea pig color. Black also falls in line with red in that cards restricted for it are mainly because of specific archetypes, Greymon and Alphamon specifically. But in terms of the Digimon trading card game, purple is one of the most punished colors in the card game. From this point on, the video dives into why green is largely the guinea pig color, while purple is most punished. Green is the guinea pig color in my mind, because of the fact that there are so many preliminary effects that seem to rise with it, but then disappear as the ability moves into other colors with direct keywords. The earliest example of this would be Chaosmon. Chaosmon is a Digimon that made its first appearance in BT4. When Digivolving, unsuspend this Digimon, then it can attack your opponent's Digimon. This effect allows you to attack unsuspended Digimon as well. In the early days, this was about as close as you could get to attacking an opponent's Digimon at the end of your turn. And come 1 set later, green would not get any effects like this ever, as the keyword Blitz would be locked behind Digimon like Omnimon and red-based effects. But this would not be the first time that green would get the short end of the stick. With BT9, green would be introduced to Grandest Kuwagamon and its x-antibody Digivolution lines, and these effects would allow you to, when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if this Digimon is attacking, you may switch the attack target to one of your opponent's suspended Digimon. Again, does this sound familiar? When attacking, switching the attack target to one of your opponent's Digimon. 2 sets later, this effect would largely be fine-tuned into Raid, a keyword that lets you switch the attack target to one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with the highest DP. And look! Red would get this effect again. But in more recent times, green would also be a color that would get many ways to play Digimon by effects and with a reduced cost. The only problem? Purple would ultimately do it better. Sure, Bloom Lordmon can build wide boards and whatnot, but when your play by effects is ultimately limited to your DP threshold of 3000, and traits of plant, vegetation, or fairy, Anubismon and Fenrilugamon laugh. Which takes me to the final point of this video: why is purple the most punished color? In terms of overall restrictions, purple has 9 of them, and being the most out of any of the colors. Anubismon, pretty clear why this puppy got limited. Overtuned, deletes an opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon when a Digimon is played by effect. If not, draw 1. And this is every turn. Removal at the expense of cards in your hand. Oh wait, if you don't delete, you get to draw 1. Gabumon X? Harsh, but I get it. Garurumon X? Yes, you deserved it. Starter Deck 6 Gabumon? Yeah. No once per turn effect to draw 1 and trash 1 when attacking? Considering you have ways to attack multiple times in a turn, that's easy cycling. BT2 Gabumon? Okay. I can actually see this coming back at some point in the future, though it is a little generic. Eismon Scatter Mode? I feel like this Digimon was fine considering Eismon was at 1. You were giving up your board presence to potentially get that draw 3 trash 2. EX2 Itmon? Pretty busted in Beelzemon and Mildex, honestly. Calling from Darkness? Recycle to the max! And of course, Eismon for that free body. All in all, the purple cards that are limited were just too powerful. Some felt balanced at the time of release, while others felt that they weren't tested with a large enough card pool. This video above all was to kind of look at how colors themselves have gotten power crept over time. Some with respect, while others too much, or being the test child. In your mind, where do you see Bandai go with colors? We saw dual colors make their appearance in BT8. And with the upcoming BT16 set, we will see the first 3-color card. But is this going to be the norm? Will dual color eggs be inevitable? Let me know your thoughts, and as always, I hope you enjoyed this discussion on colors and power. This is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.